Oh, hello, Periscope viewers. Dr. George Kosmides coming at you this evening. Oh, that's kind of bright. Hey, Jeff. Hey, guys. Whoops. How are you? How are you? Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining me this evening. Hey, Bison. Hey, thanks, guys, for joining me. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Amy, one of my Star Academy members. There she is. Thanks for inviting your followers. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Boston Camera. Hey, my wife gets her cameras there. Thank you so much. Lynn, thanks for joining. Hey, sweetie. Hey, Star Woman, thanks for inviting your followers. Thank you so much. Hello. Oh, I'm not a sir. I'm still young. I'm still young. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Doc, for joining. Hello. I'm Rick, photojournalist with CBS. Excellent. Excellent. Hello. I'm doing well. A little nasally, but I'm not sick. It's just probably gastric irritation, something that I did. Hey, Sydney, Australia. Thank you. Hello there. Bought me. I hope to learn something. I hope you learned something too. You know, I really do. So my name is Dr. George Kosmides. I'm a simple doctor of chiropractic here in Redondo Beach. I've been in practice for about 20 years. I nearly lost my own life at 19 in a bad car accident. My uncle, John, was an orthopedic surgeon, recommended back surgery. My father was against it. I went the chiropractic route, and it literally saved me. So I have no axe to grind. I'm for whatever's going to get the person better. In 1995, I lost my father to cardiovascular disease, the side effects of diabetes, and he was only 56. I lost my two other uncles, my Uncle John at 31 and my Uncle Steve at 55. I read everything I could get my hands on diabetes, and the paper that caught my eye the most initially was Dr. Karen O'Day's work, who was resolving type 2 diabetes and all the other blood parameters within 7 weeks. And you can pull up her research on the American Diabetes Association website. Just type in Karen O'Day and you'll find it. It's kind of buried, but you'll be able to find it. And I've been doing this work ever since. I've been on Periscope giving tips and keys to help you work better with your primary. I'm not for going rogue. If whatever program that you're doing to improve your health, it should show up in your lab work. If it's not, in my opinion, it's not effective. So thank you so much. I thank you guys for watching me. Thank you so much. So, okay. So here's how I run my scopes so I don't totally lose my train of thought and get all disheveled. So tonight, the three, let me pull up what I tweeted. So 3 keys that are worth doing to change your lifestyle. There's a lot of things we can do. There's too many. But what are the 3 keys? So, you know, in my academy, the work that I do, I'm all about what can I do that's going to give me the maximum benefit, the maximum. And save all your questions. I'll try to answer those. Give me about 10 minutes to go through this short topic, and then I'll answer some questions, so bear with me. So 3 keys that you have to get if you're thinking about doing anything health-related, in my humble opinion, based on research and what's out there. Here's number 1, 3 keys. Get your body fat tested. The more and more research that's out there, and again, I'm just going to pulling up something. I use PubMed, I use The Lancet, I use Western Price Foundation, I use Science Today. I have several resources that have been around. PubMed has over 3 million peer-reviewed articles in them. And I'm not saying they're all 100% accurate, but at least they'll give you some concepts of what's happening in medicine as far as research. And they're having this paper here talks about the effects of body fat on insulin resistance and how so many inflammatory conditions are caused by, body fat. That's why you guys have to get it checked. And what you'll find is this. Once a woman's body fat starts climbing above 30%, your risk for certain cancers, especially ovarian and breast, really go up high. And when you get above 40%, they skyrocket your risk. So forget about vanity for a moment. You know, you want to look good. Everyone does, but you have to focus on this from an anti-disease perspective. And it's pretty straightforward to do. Hey, Lucretia, and it doesn't involve boot camps and jumping up and down on boxes. It's not the way that you want to begin. So number 1, get your body fat tested. You can go to a local gym. Some universities still do hydrostatic weighing where they dunk you in a tank. I don't care for that. There's bioimpedance scales that you can get on Amazon for like $30, $40. Or, you know, talk to your primary. Hey, thanks for tweeting me out there. You guys can follow me at this. Hey, thanks for sharing. You guys can follow me out down there. I come on, try 3-4 times a night, and I try to be real specific with my scopes. So get your body fat tested. You can do it. just get it done. I think a lot of you will be shocked. When people come in the academy, that's the first thing we have them do. Most of the people are shocked. And some people that are in the academy, I'd say there's about a dozen that, hey, thanks for tweeting me out there, Oil Man. Their body fat is so high, the meter says, I think it says error. So I don't think it can go above like 55%. So, you know, they're still in the program. They're still working. It's just going to take some time. And remember, the research appears to be pretty specific. When the body begins to burn fat for fuel, it burns the fat in the internal organs first, the ones that are causing the most havoc physiologically. It doesn't really worry about surface fat until later. So for those of you that are either on the program, you're second or third week, you're losing, that's great. But remember, the body fat internally that you can't see, hey, is what's being handled first physiologically, according to the research. So that's number one, get your body fat taken. Pardon me. Number two, become mindful of where you're weak. You know, if you have certain things that you do, you're drinking a 6-pack of Coke, or I had one patient, a quart of gin a day, you know, it becomes so habitual that it becomes normal. So become mindful of what you're doing before you begin to change anything. Say, okay, what's the worst thing I'm doing to my health that could give me the least if I just modified it? Again, not about cold turkey. The patient I had that was with a quart of gin, I think I wanted him to back off slowly. I think that particular patient never did anything. He just kept drinking, and that's certainly his choice. But again, it's all about what can you do reasonably over time. This is about a marathon, not a sprint. For you people that are on my academy, this is a marathon. I know you want to make things happen quickly, but you have to get out of this old stale notion of old-time dieting tips. They're just a one-way trip to Palookaville. They're not going to help you. Actually going to make you worse, especially as you age. And the third thing, which I just mentioned, is think longer term. My fast track program is 12 weeks. That's basically going through the education part of it. And then your body will begin to morph and change as time goes on and as you apply different skill sets. That's right, your one-way trip to Palookaville. It's not a good place. Is pizza good for a diabetic? Traditional pizzas are made with brominated flour, so they will tend to spike the glycemic expression, or excuse me, the insulin expression. Okay, that's my 3 tips. Now I'll answer any questions that I can. I'm not here to give you particular medical advice on your situation. I'm here to get you to think so you can respond better to your primary. If you want to go into the academy, I've got bonus material that you guys can download for free. You do have to join, but you can cancel within 7 days. If you stay in the program, it's $37 a month. It's $1.23 a day. But if you don't, go in there, get the material, and you can cancel. If you're looking for a quick weight loss, you know, it's not the place. If you're looking to really gain control of your health and see not only your body fat drop away, but your lab work improve, then it's the program. Why is pizza bad? Traditional pizza is made with something called brominated flour, which is highly acidic and has a very large insulin expression. Do you ever consider weight or only, no, because that's the old, remember the old, well, not old, they still use it, the basal metabolic index or the height to weight ratio. And it doesn't make any sense at all. I was actually denied life insurance by MetLife years ago because I fell in that obese category, height to weight. What about burger? Depends on the bread. You know, there's all kind of qualifications. And what's nice is, as you learn this information in the academy, all these questions just fade away. Yeah, Lucretia used to drink. And again, I'm not here to say it's bad or not. I'm here to give you, here's the physiological principles that our bodies kind of roll with. And however you want to, you know, change those or adjust those, it's certainly up to you. I put a scoop of protein in my roll. That's excellent. How do I get rid of belly fat? Support your lean body mass. And you can't spot reduce. I see some people that, and I see what you're doing with the wraps, and that's fine, but you're not going to, it doesn't work like that. In order to, you can't melt fat like that. You have to get it to metabolically get burned, and there's a certain process that has to take place. I appreciate what you're doing. You'll get definitely some cosmetic changes for 1 or 2 days, but lasting changes, unfortunately, no. I wish. This is going to have blood sugar high. It can. And if you're a diabetic, here's what I recommend. For all the diabetics, how many diabetics are watching me on the scope? Please throw up a 1. Either type 1, type 2, or pre-diabetic. And now there's the new 1.5. Oh, my latest book is Life Without Diabetes. You can get it on Amazon for about the same price as it cost me to print it. I wrote this because of my father. If you're going to try any tips, if you get in the academy, you're going to start eating for your lean body mass, and you're going to add correct amount of protein or water. take an extra few blood tests if you're doing the finger pricks. Then write down the numbers, man, maybe a half hour after. Then when you go to your doctor, you can see that you're really being diligent about data. That way you're not guessing. My sugar day has gone down. Excellent. Well, thanks to me, but thanks for you for applying it and being consistent. That's the key. I'm so glad. No, it's not about no more candies. It's nighttime that seems to be the problem. Remember, 3 hours before bed. So again, I'm not into extremes. I'm ultra conservative. I really, hey, there's Go Rice Girl. Follow her, guys. She's a lovely, lovely person. She's got me involved in Periscope. So again, it's not about doing extreme things. It's about picking, what's the one thing that's holding me back, or what's the biggest thing I'm doing to shoot myself in the foot, and then say, hey, hey, USC man, another new Academy member. Excellent. What's up, Doc? Power to the latest trending person on Periscope. Well, I don't know about that. Yes, sir. That's what I'm doing. No more sugars at night. Yeah, that's key. 3 hours before bed research. Again, keep it reasonable. Keep it reasonable. What's a healthy body fat for males? We want to be below 21. That's what we want to be below. In my opinion, we can do that reasonably easy. And it's not about killing yourself in the gym. I'm thinking about tracking my time and posting in the group. I'm lucky if I'm there 80 minutes a week. Lucky if I'm there 80 minutes a week. And nowhere near the abusive training that I did in college. Are you getting new patients from Periscope? A lot of people are going into the Academy, and I think a good portion of them are from Periscope. Hey, what is the site for the information? leanbodyacademy.com. In like sugar. I'm not following that question. Awesome, Doc. I look forward to yours. Oh, thank you so much. For those of you that are in, healthcare or business, and you think about scoping, this forces you to really sharpen your sword, because I really have to know what I'm talking about, because there's MDs, there's other chiropractors, there's DOs, there's all kind of professionals, naturopaths, acupuncturists following me, and they're checking up on me, and I appreciate that. And by all means, don't really look at what degree someone has per se. It matters that they're educated. Just review their information to see if they're being accurate. Paleo diet. I use some of the paleo concepts in the Lean Body Academy. I use some of the Atkins concepts. I use some of Max Gerson's concepts. So I've stolen information from everyone and put it in a package that's, in my opinion, more easily to digest. It's easy when you build on masters like Atkins and Pritikin and Max Gerson. I mean, Dr. Gerson, these people were geniuses back in the day. Yeah, well, use stevia and said there's no glycemic load, there's no calories. What about CrossFit? In my opinion, those exercises are too traumatic. How many people on my scope tonight are over the age of 40? Throw up a 1 if you're over the age of 40. Okay. Okay, when you see these people jumping around on TV, put up a 2. If you say, oh, my joints hurt just watching that, throw up a 2. And here's the key. Yeah. Don't confuse motion with muscle activity. I'll repeat that. And I'm coming out with a course inside the Academy that's going to focus on this very thing. Don't focus on movement with muscular activity. Hey, from France. And we'll get into that more. It's a very scientific, much like the way the Academy is. I'm 56. You have me by a few years, but not many. Is mac and cheese okay from time to time? It's a dairy product, and it's a simple carbohydrate. It's a very low quality carbohydrate if you get the standard one. So I would make it limited. And again, once you start making headway in the Academy, the world is your pearl. You can pick and choose what you want to do and how lean you want to be. Hey, Joanne, thank you for that. So fast. Walking is good. Riding is good. Sweet potato fries, make sure you eat them with the skin on. The enzymes are in the skin. It also adds about 15% more calorie burn because your body has to process that fiber. And good advice to help someone quit smoking. Actually, I had a phone call with someone about putting something in the Academy for a smoking cessation program, because I worked with an acupuncturist when I was in Hawaii, and I'd say she got about 70% success rate, people who quit. But yeah, we're thinking about that. I would go see an acupuncturist for that. But again, you have to have a bigger desire than just quitting for the sake of quitting. If you want to be pregnant, or you have kids around the house, I mean, that should just motivate you to no end. Thank you. Yeah, I'm 52, but thank you. Which vegetable is most nutritious? Broccoli is probably one of the standards, domestic. I'm sure there may be some exotic ones, but that's one we can get mostly everywhere. Hard to say from food that I have that has sugar. It is hard. That's why you have to be a little bit Vigilant. What did Dr. Oz say? 150 pounds a year of insidious sugar that we eat. 150 pounds a year? Oh. Let's say it's even half of that. Let's say it's, 75 pounds. That's still a considerable amount. Don't judge a book by its cover or doctor by... Yeah. People say, oh, you're a doctor of chiropractic. What are you doing talking about this subject? My response is rational. I think if I was an MD, does that mean everything I say is true? It doesn't. So look at the information that people are talking about and just pull up one thing and see if they're correct. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that I'm pretty accurate on my research. Thank you. Wish there was a magic cure. Well, a Chinese doctor would say there's an internal heat problem. Whenever you see redness on the skin, in most cases, there are always exceptions for my medicos out there, always exceptions. But I studied acupuncture in China, and these guys were brilliant. And they said whenever there's a skin issue, in most cases, they call it an internal wind. Any acupuncturist follow me, throw up a 1. Am I correct? Is that what you would call that? An internal wind or an internal heat problem. And they would do some things herbally to help cool that down. And there's some, Ayurveda would get into some food aspects. Well, actually, the chocolate, the protein one I recommend now, it comes in Dutch chocolate. It's unbelievable. What do you think about food that children are being given? It's unfortunate. I tried to change that in Hawaii when I was there. All they had was a milk and soy option. And I said, what about a vegan option? I gave them 28 research papers about the negative effects of dairy. And all I heard was, well, the Dairy Association funds us. So I understand. I do look tired. I don't feel tired. I feel pretty active. How do you feel about gluten? Well, I really don't feel anything. What the research tends to say is the quality appears to be important. The quality of the gluten. I'm not vegan. And if you love cheese, the harder cheese, the better. The softer the cheese, the fattier the cheese. Just, again, simple things. I'm not vegan, but I try to eat as raw as I can, as often as I can. Hey, invited one person. Shots. Thanks a lot. How do you invite one person? I don't know how to select people like that. What foods help you burn fat? It's complicated than that, my friend. Flavored carbon water? Yeah, carbon water seems to be a problem. I would just go flat. Feta's good, yeah. It's a crumbling cheese, and mostly cheeses that crumble and that are hard are usually leaner. Lower in fat. Hey, thanks for inviting your followers, guys. Thank you. I'll teach you. I'm allergic to gluten. Well, you may be allergic. What the science is saying now is it's not so much the gluten, but the quality seems to be a problem. So, for example, traditional pastas that you get at commercial grocery stores has a low quality gluten, whereas like a kamut is a wheat product, but the quality is very high. Yeah, it's kind of fatty, Amy. Yeah, but if you want to go one step up, go to Spelt, S-P-E-L-T. It's about 5 to 10 times the nutritional density as oatmeal. Fat-burning pills. How many of you, well, let's ask the people on the scope, how many of you have taken some sort of fat-burning aid, the green tea or these other elements that are out there? How many of you taken that? Throw up a 1 for me so I can kind of know who I'm, yeah. Okay. I call them exotics. Throw up a 2. If they did not work, throw up a 2. To your expectations. Yeah. Unless you follow the Lean Body Academy principles, you'll just be spinning your wheels because you have to support your lean body mass. Is real green tea good for me? Cutting out sodas. Yeah, I would. I would just be careful about drinking a decaf one at nighttime because, it can. Hey, thanks for mentioning me on Twitter. It can kind of keep you up. Chlorophyll and my pro-arginine, my growth hormone, nighttime growth hormone releaser. Well, smart work. I wouldn't say hard work. I only work out maybe 80 minutes a week and my body fat's hovering at 14%. So it's not about working hard. No, corn, I would start phasing it out. It has a very high glycemic load and most of it's GMO. Oh, you're born in Torrance. Okay, I would still switch though. It's really, it's a soft cheese, so be mindful of that. It's the cheeses that, hey, thanks for sharing. It's the cheeses that you want to grate that have a lower saturated fat content. Doc, how far South Texas have you visited? I think I was in El Paso once for a seminar years ago. Do you have a book to learn eating? Yeah, this book will help you. There's meal plans in it and diet plans in this book. Oh, excuse me. I don't use the word diet. There's meal plans and some lifestyle changes in here. And there's meatloaf and there's pork roast and all kind of stuff that you think Actually, I got some interesting letters from dietitians when that book first came out. What about coffee? I do like it, but don't drink it with your meals. Coffee disrupts protein absorption because, remember, coffee is a stimulant. Espresso is better. Yeah, the volume appears to play a role in the digestive tract. So shorter shots appear to help the digestive tract, if that makes sense. Diets don't work, there's no question. Yeah, well, you need to flip that. Because here's the problem we get into. Oh, I'm going to eat crappy. I'll just go and train it off the next day. You don't want to get caught up in that. I'm telling you, it's another one-way trip to Palookaville. Products like yeah, I think it's an exotic. And unless you have your lean body mass down and you have a game plan in place, the exotics will do nothing but cost you money. My academy is $1.30 a day. I mean, that's not even a cup of coffee. And it'll give you the key tips so you don't make any more mistakes the rest of your life. Invited all your barbecues. Thank you so much. I love barbecue. What are some veggies? All the crucible ones are excellent. The more, if I was an Ayurvedic practitioner, I would say the more colorful the greens, the more higher nutritional value. That's generally the case. Thanks for you guys' hearts. That's why I'm here. Thanks for your shares. Some bad veggies. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because Ayurvedic gets into colors and seasons. Here's what I think. You should eat fruits that are and vegetables that are in season. It's not apple cider vinegar. It has some properties, but in and of itself, it's not going to pull you out of the well. Does that make sense? Yes, many of you asking me. Yeah, I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can, but they all come up at once. Tastes nasty. I'm not following you. Do I treat myself all the time? All the time. Can you tell us the name of the fat reader you use? Yeah, here, I'll even show it to you. I have mine out all the time. This is the Omeron. It's probably the middle of the pack as far as expense. You're looking at about $40. I get it on Amazon. If you go to GeorgeKosmides.com, you can go to products, and I have all the products that I take right there because I'm asked so much about proteins, and everything is right there. The bands that I use, the chairs that I sit in. The episode of your answer doesn't really make sense. Expand. Okay. So I call things like exotics. Apple cider vinegar, I would call an exotic. CLA, I would call an exotic. Hydroxycut and those products, I would call exotics. What I mean by that is they're going to be marginally effective only if you're supporting your lean body mass and not effective at all if you're not supporting the muscle that you have. They're not going to make you grow muscle. They're not going to in and of themselves burn fat, although they can improve some pathways that has to be there in order for that process to happen. It's not going to do it in and of itself. The body just doesn't, unfortunately, work that way. And look, guys, I don't say any of this with any sort of glee. I wish there was a magic pill we could take and just be 9% body fat and be muscled up and our blood work looks perfect. It just doesn't work that way. 80% diet, I would say emotions play a huge role. So thanks for inviting your followers. Is hot water and lemon good? I would just do warm water, especially now it's getting hot. Mix ACV with kombucha and it tastes better. Cinnamon roll honey, heat it up. Just be careful with your honey because remember it's a simple sugar, especially at nighttime. Milligrams of vitamins should you take? Depends on the size of your body. What body fat should I be at 20 years old at 5'6"? 20 years old, you should be around the 20% range, 18 to 20, 21%. Great. You know, for those of you in the program, if you want to add it, fantastic. If you're anything that you're going to add consistently that you haven't done in the past and you're a diabetic where you have to test your blood sugar, do an extra test and write down what you took and just see if it changes. I've seen the weirdest things change blood readings. And especially if you're on insulin, you want to let your doctor know, hey, look, I took ABC product or I changed my sugar intake or whatever it was, and my blood sugar dropped 70 points. They need to know that so they can adjust your meds, and you need to be right on top of that. Because too much insulin or too much of that medication can create problems, just like not enough. So, you know, be in communication. Menopause, yeah, support your lean body mass. I hate to keep sounding like a broken record to you guys, but that's so important. Even the research with the other disease processes. Body fat for 40 what age? Come on, don't throw the age number up. I'm quite a bit older than that, so I haven't reached my physical prime yet. At 5 foot tall, medium frame, how much should I weigh? You got to get your body fat, young lady. How many of you heard of, throw up a one, how many of you heard of, what do they call it here in LA? Skinny fat. How many of you heard that term? Throw up a one. Right. How many of you know what it means? Throw up a two. If you know what it means, throw up a two. Okay. So just to edify for the people who don't, it means that their body fat percentage has gotten so high, even though they're 120 or 130 pounds, they might be 40% body fat or more. Well, it's not so much out of shape. Let's be specific. It's their body fat has climbed so high. So someone can have 30% body fat, but they could still be relatively, for a short time, cardiovascularly okay. But it's not going to last. Yeah, they're not supporting their lean muscle mass. That's right. So that's what most diets do, and the research is pretty clear on that. It actually chops away at your weight, but your body fat climbs. Do you guys understand that concept? Doc, when you say support the lean muscle mass, it takes it as it stay away from junk foods and sugars. Well, it's not about staying away. It's okay. We know that by supporting lean body mass, it's one of the 7 pillars in my academy, or 8 pillars in my academy. It's key. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Throwing up two. Okay, so that's what happens. Their body fat percentage rises and their lean body mass drops. Yeah, the 6 pillars. How do you get out of it? I'm not following you. What is the 2? Sorry, guys. I'm getting all these questions at once, and I'm trying to answer them. So please don't be upset with me if I don't answer. I'm not ignoring your question. How many grams of protein do you intake? I take about 140 grams a day of protein. Probably about half is from whey isolate. Yes, 2 was for skinny fat. That's right. If you knew what it was, I do mostly all weights now and small enough carbs. You can do them both at the same time. Remember, I'm crunched for time. Tomorrow I'm working in the office 12 hours. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and my wife has been gone for 3 weeks. So I've got to crunch my time, like all of you guys. It's chlorophyll and one of the few products that I endorse, Perarginine 9+ from Synergy. Dropped me almost 6% body fat in 14 weeks. It's the same thing. It just means you're lighter in weight, but your body fat percentage is higher. How do you support the body fat? You have to first get a number that will help you determine how much protein to take for your lean body mass. Hey, good evening. Thank you so much. I used to give that calculation out on the Periscope, but my Academy members asked me not to because they realize how many, do I have any Academy members watching my scope tonight? Just throw up a quick one. I don't want to bother you guys. Yeah, see, here they come. See, here they come. So all the ones are in my academy, and this hopefully this will help. How much work have I saved you guys? Okay, no form. How much work has I saved you guys, and how easy has I made this program, or to lose weight and body fat? Throw up a 2. How easy has I made it? That's my goal. Ease, easy. Yeah, thank you. How many times you should eat? In my program, you're eating 5 times a day. In my book, you're eating 5 times a day. The meal plan in the academy and meal plan and book have some similarities. But when I wrote the book, I wasn't convinced yet how important body fat reduction was until the research became overwhelming. I mean, if you go to PubMed and you type in body fat and disease or body fat disorders, I mean, you'll see dozens of papers come up. You can go to Amazon, just type in my name, George Kosmides, and you'll get the book Life Without Diabetes. It'll be a blue-colored book like this. And again, I'm selling it for about what it takes for me to print. I want to get it in the hands of people. My goal is 1 million people get that book and start making a difference. Because the diabetes is going up at about 4 to 7% per year. Per year. What is there on Earth when I send hearts? Oh, I put Earth Day. I thought that would look really good. Thank you for the hearts, guys. Maybe say something a little slower or repeat the good stuff you say more than once. Thank you so much. You know, my wife told me the same thing, and I try to answer everyone at once, and I apologize. Okay, so type 2, they used to call it acquired diabetes. There's a lot you can do, and I've worked with people with blood sugar over 800, along with their primary. They're smooth sailing. Can you sign the book, Frank Sherman? What makes my blood sugar? I didn't get that whole question. What's the perfect breakfast? Perfect breakfast is a protein and a vegetable, or a whey isolated shake with some greens in it. Real simple. Really simple. Yeah, Ken Shamrock. I get that a lot. It's okay. I'm not sure how he feels about it, but it's okay for me. Thank you so much. Quest bars, I would go with a J-Rob. So no eggs, bacon, potatoes, turkey. No, eggs are on the plan. Bacon's on the plan. White potatoes are not, however. Off topic, what do you do about low blood pressure? Well, it depends on the reason, but low blood pressure usually means, and again, there are exceptions, that your cardiovascular system is in pretty good shape. For example, on his heyday, what was the cyclist's name? Greg LeMond. His resting heart rate was, I think, 43. I mean, that's unbelievable. Yeah, when I was in school, Dr. Parkash said it's only too low if you pass out, everything being equal. Is oatmeal okay? Spelt is better. S-P-E-L-T. Look into that. It looks like a muscle up oatmeal. I recently purchased J-Raw protein, truly the best tasting. Oh, there's no question it's the best. It's one of the best tasting out there. Make sure you're getting the isolated whey though. Oat Mega Bar. Okay. Smoothie King on. That's right. You feel tired through the low blood. Oh, that's a question for her. Yeah, there could be several reasons why. You know, once you begin, the first 2 weeks in the academy, you focus on the fundamentals. You clean those up first. I would say 90% of the people that come in the academy, and I've got some really fit people, there's maybe 3 or 4 parts of the fundamentals that they just blown over. Yeah, you can make them. That's fine. What do you think about the Larry's Complete Cookies? I guess in a pinch, they're okay. Well, plus I have no iron. What are you going to do about that? For you guys that have questions that are like 4 more lines, copy and paste those so you can resend them. What about green smoothie? It's fine. Depends what the green is. And remember, vegetables, as a general rule, unless you're looking at broccoli tops, really not high in protein. You had an infusion. Yeah, but it's not going to fix your long stemming problem. Do you follow me? The fact that you have to get it from the outside in means there's something not working inside. That's what either needs to be supported or looked at or addressed or something. But most people miss the basics. For example, here's a question I'll throw up. And you medicals, cut me some slack. I'm just trying to get people thinking. What would you say the number one cause of high blood pressure? Again, everything being equal, what's the number one cause of high blood pressure? Like, oh, my blood pressure was high today. What do you think the number one cause is? Okay, stress, salt, dehydration, high sodium foods, laziness, sodium, stress. Okay. Number one cause is dehydration. If you guys want to know why, throw up a 1 and I'll explain to you why. If I want healthy but good tasting smoothie, what would you put into it? Okay. So the cardiovascular system, mainly let's talk about the blood. What percentage of it do you think is water? What percentage of the blood is water? 80, 70. Okay, we have, again, smart people on my scope. Some of you getting it right on, 71%. Yeah, it ranges, depending on research, between, let's say, 71 and 74%. So I think a couple of them said 75. Okay, let's say between 70 and 75%. So when your body is dehydrated, and by the time you're already kind of thirsty, you're already kind of low, where do you think your body will pull water from? For the brain, for your internal organs, for just general digestive lubrication? Where do you think it's most readily available? That's right, in the blood and the muscle tissue. That's right. So as you pull that water out to supply necessary functions, what happens to the thickness or the viscosity of the blood? Does it get thicker or does it get thinner? That's right. Excellent. You guys are so smart. Now, what is your your arteries, which is muscle, and your heart, which is muscle, do they have to pump more or pump less to pump that thicker blood through? They have to work harder or work less? That's right. So having higher blood pressure is just your body's way of dealing with that dehydration mechanism. That's why in the academy, I want to support all the basic necessities of your body. And what's wonderful happens is some things just fall away. We had a lady who just been in the program. Kathy's been in what, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks? I think her second week, she was able to see her ankles. I think she said in her testimony after 30-something years. That's just bizarre to me. Yeah, and we're not treating adrenal fatigue. We're not treating edema. We're not treating the symptom. We're supporting the body that has the problem. Fat appears to be a problem because we're not supporting it. So I lay this out in real simple terms so you guys can step to your lives and not have to worry about, because you already have the knowledge. Oh, okay, here's the choice you need to make. Here's what I need to do today. Oh, I'm 60 grams light. Here's what I need to do. And there's no more guessing. Mine's high. Once I had expo, but I didn't drink water all day. See, there you go. See, isn't it nice? And this is for anyone that's, when you get revelations like that and it clicks, it's like a light got turned on. All your anxiety begins to go away because now you have reasonable answers. Hey, Cynthia Joy, thanks for tweeting me out. You're reasonable and you're applying reasonable things. You're not freaking out. And then, you know, after applying the principles for 1 or 2 months and you still have things coming up, then you can say, okay, now let's go to the next step. But to jump right away without supporting how your body functions physiologically, it doesn't seem reasonable to me. Okay, you want to get those lab works. Right now, what I'm doing is anyone who opts in for the year program, it's $497. I will give you an hour consult and I'll review your labs. I'm not going to diagnose you, but I'll just give you straight talk about what I think you could do with your lifestyle to improve those. And what's nice is you go back in 4 weeks and 6 weeks and you just have it done again. So there's a lot you can do. Oh, you got those good. Yeah, they're your records, so keep a copy. Now you can get a digital copy. You can Google Drive. You can Dropbox it. And kind of, you know, we have files on everything in our lives. We need to have a file on ourselves. Because ultimately, you know, there are exceptions to every rule. But ultimately, the person that's in the mirror, that's the person that's responsible. Not your doctor, you know, not your wife or your husband. It's you that's responsible by your choices. And remember, we're stuck with them. No. So it's just the last year. If you come on for a year, I'll do that. Just your last year is all I need, or your most recent lab work. You ask me that all the time, Amy. For heaven's sakes, I'm not. Ankle swelling could be a number of reasons. If you push your thumb there and the skin goes in and you get a little pit called pitting edema, that could be cardiovascular weakness. For a fatty liver, support your lean body mass. You have to look at how your eating habits are. Mine would take up your hard drive. No, just your most recent one. That's it. But you have to understand that concessions may need to be made. And you can either pick your heart. Pick your heart about learning how to take better care of yourself, or pick your heart about, you know, spending 5 hours a week driving to different care centers, or whatever you're doing to deal with the symptoms. What are you doing to help the fundamental physiology? And again, it's not about what you're doing is right or wrong. It's about your body is just human. It just needs support. How do you become more positive? Just the fact that you're knowing that you aren't positive is a step in the right direction. Well, I'm a doctor of chiropractic, but I've been doing functional medicine since I lost my father in 1995. I really got into this work heavily. I fell down cement stairs. Oh, I'm sorry. Managed to roll my body off the side through. Holy smokes. Yeah, pick your heart, no question. Yeah, if you felt like that, you know, go to the ER, let them check you out. I mean, especially if you hit your head or something. 90%, that's a little high. I'd put us around the 80 percentile mark, but that's okay. Change my diet. My eyes are kind of yellow. I don't feel sick. Could it be my diet? Eyes yellow could be jaundice, could be the liver. But remember, you can't eat a certain way for 20 years, change a few, you know, make some positive gains, and then a week expect miracles. It just doesn't work like that. I wish it did, guys. I wish it did. I would say 80 points. 6 foot fella. You're funny. Do you ever have patients with epilepsy? I do. We had several. That's at the office on Pacific Coast Highway. Any tips on people with Gilbert? I'm not familiar with Gilbert syndrome. I don't run across that very often. But again, here's my main premise. The work that the Lean Body Academy does and the work that I talk about on these scopes is supportive in nature. It's not treatment specific. With diabetes in particular, everyone's focusing on treating diabetes. We have to take a step back and say, let's look at the person who has the problem. Are they mindful of what's a high glycemic food? Are they mindful of what a low glycemic food is? Do they understand growth hormone release at nighttime? Do they understand basic things? Is Benjamin, I didn't get that. Me too, never take diet pills, no good program of just eating. Well, eating right, there's more to it than just that. You have to know what your lean body mass is. And where do I stand on dairy? I don't recommend anything that's not fermented. No commercial dairy products. I'm sorry. It's not my opinion. I just read research papers that were just appalling. Hey, thanks for joining the Academy. Thanks for joining the Academy. Do not take contrast. Depends. For MRIs you're talking about, it just depends on what you're trying to look at, in my opinion. What do you mean by lean? Lean body mass is the muscle that you have left over, relatively speaking, once the fat is stripped away. So if someone's 200 pounds and their lean body mass, they may be 160. So that means 40 pounds of that is just fat. Proarginine and chlorophyll. Yeah, and even then, you know, in my refrigerator, I've got some, what my daughter calls moo yogurt, but rarely. And it's usually vegan. We don't have no regular milk. It's all fermented. So what could cause my heart rate to increase and I haven't eaten or taken anything? Don't know. Could be adrenals. Could be a number of things. Could be anxiety. You know, emotions play a key role. So you can say, oh, I'm going to do this, and that. But if you're emotionally out of sorts, you're not getting along with your mate at home, you have some issues at work, oh, that could definitely carry on cortisol issues. Are you doing biking scopes again? Maybe on Wednesday I'll do one. Tomorrow I'm in the office all day, so I don't think I'll get out there, but I'll probably do one on Wednesday. You guys like those biking scopes? I'm in Redondo Beach, so I kind of take you guys out to the beach. How do you get better lean body mass? Well, you have to support the muscle mass that you already have. Okay, because my heart rate was 120, that's a little high. You know, that's a little high. No, I'm not an MD or a naturopath. I'm a DC, yeah. And again, I'll say this before. If I was a naturopath or an MD, does that mean everything I say is true? The relevant question is if what I'm saying is true or false. That's how I want you guys to think about this. I want you to really get sharp. He's ignoring my guns comments. I just have a regular arm. I don't know what you guys are talking. I mean, I'm not super muscular. I don't train that much, but at 14% or so, I think my academy work is pretty good. Gynecomastia, that's a hormone issue, my friend. You need to get away from things that are aromatizing estrogen in your body. And if you're doing synthetics, you need to go to a doctor who knows what they're doing. Thank you so much. You know, when you're doing things like, yeah, an endocrinologist who specializes in steroids or hormone therapy, that's, you know that's what they focus on. Go to someone that's what they do. Like, it's like you wouldn't go to a ear, nose, and throat doctor if you had a hip problem, right? You want to go to someone that's what they do day in, day out, and to them, they know it like the back of their hand. High prolactin, I have no idea what that is. So do you lift weights and stuff like that? You can, but the main thing is you do it in the kitchen with supporting your lean body mass with protein. And you guys know it as amino acids or branched chain amino acids. But all it is protein. That's all the media trying to confuse you. And when I was in college, it was called the building blocks of life. I don't know if it's still called that now. 3 tips you would tell 55-year-old, 40 pounds, no exercise, can't join tips. Yeah, you can join. You'll get the most benefit. Exercise isn't a prerequisite on my program. Catching my first goal. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you can follow me here. You can slide me up and you can share me out. I just want to touch people because I lost my father at 56 to the side effects of diabetes, cardiovascular disease. And guys, his lab work was normal. I'm not an osteopath. His lab work was normal the last 10 years through medication, but his numbers are normal. So if I can get anything across, hey, Ford Boss, thanks for running your followers. Don't confuse synthetically altered numbers with being healthy. That's an important point. It's not about this is good, that's bad. I don't even get into those types of arguments. It's kind of like my dad was taking a blood pressure medication and Kenalog for his digestive tract for years, and he had no problems. He ended up having all kind of tumors and things. So just be mindful of your health. Don't try to do the quick fix, because unfortunately we can't trade our bodies in. No matter how good the media says we can reverse it, we can't trade ourselves in, unfortunately. Higher protein diets for lean. No, the correct amount of protein for your lean body mass. So can support lean body mass help stabilize? Absolutely it can. Because what research is saying now is high body fat, when you start climbing around 30%, influences hormone response. Hey, thanks for sharing. Influences hormone, what they call expression. Pretty bad, right? So when your body fat climbs, you actually influence tons of hormones in your body that we never thought were a problem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And eventually some of this information will stick, and you'll start applying, and it'll just happen. You'll start getting some gain. Have you read the China? I have. I'm pretty familiar with that study. Quite shocking, actually. But what do you do? How do you? When I was in Hawaii, I was working with the public health nurse, the head one of the Hawaiian Islands, and the problem came up again. What do you do when you can get McDonald's burger, a hamburger and fries for $3, but a healthy lunch costs $10? How do you, what's the workaround? How do you fix that? I think big agricultural needs to be involved in. They need to be paying some sort of tax for the high insulin expression foods that are on the market. Yeah, fasting. I talked about. How many of you guys want me to address intermittent fasting? Put a 1 up if you want me to talk about intermittent fasting. It's interesting because I know a lot of gurus out there that promote it, but none of them ever want to debate me on the subject. It's not because I'm so smart. It's just when you look into it, the principles that they're trying to get your body to fall into, you can do it without going to that extreme, and I'll try to explain why. And for you guys that are intermittent fasting gurus, please let me know if I'm understanding this correctly. Not if you're understanding it correctly. I know you do, but if I'm understanding it. What I've read was intermittent fasting, the main key is you eat between noon and 8 p.m. If I'm correct on that assumption, as a general rule, throw up a 1 if I've understood that correctly. I think I've read 4 or maybe it was 6 papers that I gleaned through. Yeah, okay. And then you fast from 8 p.m. to 12 noon. Okay, that's the most common way. Okay, I'm just trying to understand the basics. Now, here's what I'm going to pose to you. We all have a certain amount of muscle, and we all need to eat a certain amount of amino acids, or that muscle will go into catabolism. Means it'll break down because it's not being supported. And you'll urinate it out, you'll sweat it out, it'll just break down, and your body fat will rise and your lean muscle mass will drop. That's just reasonable. I didn't make it up. It's in physiology. That's just what we're stuck with. Now, if I need to eat 140 grams a day to support my lean body mass, and I've only got between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to do it, and tomorrow I'm in the office from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and I'm with patients all day, there is no way I can consume that amount of calories to support me to make it all the way through my fasting time. So hold on. So from a practicality standpoint, to me, it fails. Second point I want to address is, how many of you intermittent fasters know what's the goal? And please don't say detox, because it's not. Well, it may be, but that's not the direct goal from reading the peer-reviewed research that I've read. What's the direct goal of fasting? Intermittent fasting, call it whatever you want, not eating for 12 hours or 20. What's the goal? Forget about calories. It's a one-way trip to Palookaville. Come on. What's the goal? Fat burn? I don't agree with that. To help lose weight? You'll lose weight. But will you lose fat? To give your body a break? Okay. So here's Here's on the research papers that I've read. Again, it's my reading. I'm not saying it's true, but that's what I understood and what I've read. The goal is to lower insulin expression. And I keep talking about that, but it's so key. So what this, and it's doing it in a very extreme way by not eating. So when you lower insulin expression, a lot of cool things happen growth hormone wise, anti-aging wise at nighttime that don't happen when insulin is up, because the body thinks it's going to go and work. Just basic Neanderthal type of physiology we're dealing with. And intermittent fasting takes it to an extreme. Now the Academy does similar principles without those extremes. You'll still get, and it might take you a few weeks in the Academy to start making this happen, but you'll get into low insulin expression 2 or 3 hours a night because of the way that your meal plans are structured. Simple. Simple. For those of you that are new on the scope, that was our first inappropriate comment. Understand that never take it personal and just block them. They're usually young kids or new to Periscope, and they don't realize people are going to block them, and pretty soon they're going to go on and they're going to find no one to go on their scopes. So don't take it personal. Don't let people like that. If you have something to say, and all of you out there have some story to tell that can affect someone in a positive way, don't let them hold you back. Okay? Well, no, I don't recommend a vegan diet. I recommend if you're going to be a vegan, be a very smart one. And one of the books I would get would be Jethro Kloss. The next one I would get would be Bernard Jensen, The Chemistry of Man. Know what you're doing. What do you think about calculation of protein needs? Think about 140 grams bogus. Is a bogus calc? Well, that's for my lean body mass. I'm not talking about for general people. That's my body. Someone asked me about what my protein intake was. And that fluctuates based on my activity level. And it's based on certain hard and fast rules that we just have to follow physiologically. So everyone in the Palookaville, they can have blocks their accounts. And yeah, that's right. I didn't block him. Well, if he comes back, we'll just all block him. I don't like inappropriate comments. I have a lot of kids that call my scopes. Parents trust my Periscopes to give their kids good information, and I don't want things like that on. A calculation put out there by Big Ag. Yeah, I don't go by that. There's several of them out there. Calculations. Mine are reasonable, and it's more based on, hey, Lucretia, where you're at when you begin. What time of day do you recommend taking Progen? 30 minutes before bed. So I'll finish my scope. I'll do some more writing in the Academy, respond to some emails, and then I'll hit the sack. So I take it right before bed. That's your first 2 hours of sleep is when you release the most growth hormone. And when you start getting 35, 40, 50, it starts really dropping off. And this product actually helps you not only release it, but also helps the uptake. And the research is rock solid. And you can look it up. It's called the nitrous oxide effect. Viagra is trying to do exactly what this product is doing inside the body. Hey, Dukas Sayer, thanks for following me. And thanks for sending me out. I don't take any supplements. What do you suggest? Start with your lean body mass. Yeah, it's called the nitric oxide effect. It won the Nobel Prize in Medicine. I'm going to say 1998. I'm having high protein intake, but afraid of acidosis. Forget about high and low. The protein for your body. I don't use arbitrary numbers in the Academy. I don't want anyone saying that I'm non-specific. How bad is it to wake up frequently at night? It's not good because each time you wake up, you disrupt your REM sleep cycle. And that is critical as well. Yeah, GeorgeKosmides.com. You go, I think it's called products now, where you can see the products that I take. But if you get into the Academy, there's a sidebar. There's I made short videos on each one of them that I endorse. Yeah, the best low glycemic sweetener for diabetics is stevia, and the best company that make it is called Sweet Leaf. Good night, Lucretia. What about my lean body masses? I know you showed us the tool thing, but where to find it? Go to GeorgeKosmides.com or go to Amazon, look for it. But I put the one there that I have. So, what author again for a vegan? Get the book from Jethro Kloss. It's been out for a while. It's called Back to Eden. It's a pretty thick book. It's about 440 pages. I'm on an antidepressant and I have gained 50 pounds because of it. Should I stop taking it? No, I'm not going to recommend you stop taking any of your medication. I'm recommending that you have a conference with your primary and see what you can do to change that, or let them know that you're gaining weight, and start supporting your lean body mass. Part of people, and put up a 1 if you agree with me, part of people when you were heavy, and for those of you, that are having emotional issues, I was sexually molested at 8 years old. I was relatively obese at 15. So I've kind of been there and done that emotionally. Got to understand it's playing a part. So start supporting your lean body mass, and who knows, as you start lightening up, maybe your antidepressants will become less needed, and that's where you communicate with your primary. Again, when you become healthier, things begin to normally fall away. I'm not saying your antidepressant is going to fall away, but you won't know until you start becoming healthier by doing reasonable things, supporting your lean body mass with protein, supporting your lean body mass with water, assessing your daily intake of rest, how are you communicating with your spouse, that sort of thing. Again, doing reasonable things consistently, that's the key. No, the one of the chemistry. Yeah. Oh, the chemistry of man. Oh, yeah. It's Bernard Jensen. It's called The Chemistry of Man. It's been out for years. He was one of the very first PhDs in nutrition back in I think I'm going to say 60s. He was I think they had the very first, here in California, the very first wellness retreat when it was like unheard of. I've heard mood is better than lean weight. I'm not following that question. Hey, welcome. I'm concerned not enough to protein, but keep body alkaline. Well, I understand that, but understand protein is acidic by just its nature, but that's also the building blocks of life. So don't split hairs. The whole goal is you follow your lean body mass with protein. You follow your lean body mass with water. You make sure you're eating. You make sure you're eating the correct amount of lean body mass protein. I'll go over my background again. So I nearly lost my life at 19 years old in a bad car accident. Made the front page of the paper, put me in a coma, hit me I was in a 77 Corvette and got rear-ended by a 68 Pontiac Bonneville going about 70. And he went through a fast food restaurant, ended 2 people's lives and injured 6 others, put me in a coma for about 3 days, put me in the hospital for about 3 weeks. When I got out of the hospital, I was 128 pounds. Right now I'm about 175-ish. So I was about 40 pounds lighter than I am today. After about 2 weeks home, I began to lose my bowel and bladder function, and that wasn't good. So I had neurological problems in my spine, and my uncle was an orthopedic surgeon. He said, your discs are really bad in your neck and your low back. We should fuse C5 and 6 and fuse L5S1. That's the last disc in your low back and about the lower part of your neck. My dad said, no way. I was 19. I just wanted to be out of pain. And he said, you're going to go see a bone setter. That's what was a doctor of chiropractic. Didn't want to go. My uncle was the best orthopedist. I didn't want to go. I went. Within 3 treatments, I got my bowel and bladder function back. So you're talking to someone who now does that as my profession, but it wasn't something that I just knew would help me. In fact, I was the worst reception room patient you can ever imagine. Every other word out of my mouth was, my uncle's an orthopedist. I shouldn't be here. I'm only here because my dad is here. I was just terrible. And they were gracious with me and they were kind to me. And they just knew that once I started getting some help, I would change. And I changed. So now look at me here. I'm 52 now. That was when I was 19. I got into practice about 3.5, 4 years, and then I lost my father out of the blue to side effects of cardiovascular disease. He was 56. I lost my Uncle Steve prior to that at 55. He was a professional bowler, lost his hand, both feet, I'm pretty sure, and then his vision went. And he had bowled, I think, 10 or 12, 300 games in his career, which is like winning the Olympics in bowling. Every frame, knocked down every pin. I talk about him in my book as well. And then Uncle John at 31. He died right in front of me when I was about 6. So I read some information on this diabetes, started reading it about 1995. I lost my dad, and I ran across some research by Dr. Karen O'Day, O-D-E-A. You can find her work on PubMed. You can find her in The Lancet. You can also find her in the American Diabetes Association. And she was resolving type 2 diabetes. And not only resolving the diabetes, but their blood work would all come back normal within 7 weeks. And I was just flabbergasted. So I began to read everything I could, and I now teach 12 hours a month, continuing education, one of the only chiropractors in the state of California to do so on diabetes, not the treatment of it, but how best to support the person. And I teach the docs about glycemic load and index, and just give them a better place to be. And what's interesting is Body Fat and Lean Body Academy was just a natural progression because it all plays in. Show me a really top shape person that's a type 2 diabetic. It doesn't happen. There's some type 1s because it's a genetic disorder, but even now that's being questioned in some levels of research. So give up beef. There's arguments for and against it. I see these side teeth here called canines. I don't think they're just, vegans don't really need them. They don't really need incisors. So, I'm on both sides of the fence. I went to a chiropractor when I was pregnant and it was great. Yeah, I recommend it. If you're pregnant, get adjusted regularly. It will help you. Our chiropractors get far more nutritional training than MDs. Well, I was a glutton for punishment. I probably have about 3,000 hours over and beyond school. Well, no, I'm Cowspiracy. I'm hearing you. No question about it. Believe me, I'd be on your side of the fence, but we have to meet people where they're at. And you take someone who's used to eating burgers or McDonald's or Jack in the Box or consistent meaty type of foods and tell them, hey, look, be raw. You might as well be talking to them on the moon. And that's not what causes muscle spasms. Could be several things: lack of minerals, dehydration, or a combination of the two. Oh, there's a broken link on my site. Thank you so much. Well, what they said specifically was that the sliced meats, the nitrated meats, appear to be a problem. Getting adjusted means your spine is adjusted, and I do it by hand in 99% of the cases. And you adjust this, or you apply force to the spine, and you release nerve interference. And people think it feels phenomenal, but actually improves T-cell production and does all kind of wonderful things. Helps the body communicate better with itself. I did IVF and the Carolyn got me through the pregnancy. There you go. What's good to get the lactic acid out of the body after workout? Protein and a hot shower. Oh no, you don't use the tool. Processed meats for the... Yeah, no, they said the processing, the nitrates and how they process meats. Hey, Brazil, to have a long shelf life. That appears to be the problem. But see, here's the key, guys. With me, it's about frequency of use. How often are you doing those types of things? If someone says, oh, I drink a Red Bull a couple times a month, no worries. But I had a webmaster, he was doing like 4 to 6 per day, and he ended up getting, in his 20s, ended up getting renal dysfunction. Yeah, it's called an activator probably. Yeah. So it's all about frequency of use. Breaking up fascia, currently looking at a fascia blaster by... Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Yeah, foam rollers, extensive, excellent. Pilates, excellent. Iyengar yoga, excellent. I have bands and rollers in my house. Well, I know, but what's your body fat ratio? And next time you buy a McDonald's hamburger, and this happened to me, just fold up the bag and throw it in the back seat of your car. And I guarantee you, if you go back there in 6 months, it'll almost look the same. Yeah, everyone's different, and sometimes I use the tool on my daughter, sometimes I use my hands. Everyone's different. I like to say that if you only have a hammer, you look at everything like a nail. The whole key is to have a lot of tools in your toolbox, or at least know where to look. In our office, there's pain management, there's a physical therapist, there's a massage therapist, there's an MD, there's a PT. What's best for the patient? I'm 6'2", 140. I work out 2 days a week and gain no weight. Okay, what's your lean muscle mass and what's your lean muscle mass protein intake? It's kind of like saying, I invest in the stock market, and the next question I would ask you is, what's your analysis to determine how you pick a stock? Well, I just pick one. Well, your success rate, unless you're super lucky, is probably not going to be that good. Same way with your body. Unless you have some reasonable data, the chance of you really getting successful results is kind of iffy. And as you age, you pay more of the price. Eating enough protein to support your lean body mass. I was thinking about today, I keep saying that same answer, and I'm trying to find another acronym for it. Is muscle milk good? Now the protein quality is rather weak, unfortunately. I believe that one is, the protein is either soy or sodium caseinate, which are the two worst on the market. You got to determine what your lean body mass is. Down 9 pounds in 9 days on the program. That's what I'm talking about. Your body fat will start registering. No more protein to lose weight. Well, it's not about more or less. Remember, it's a specific number for your body. No, you read it wrong. It's not according to the biological value put up by the US RDA. isolated whey is the #1 bioavailable right underneath mother's milk. I have no idea what Arnold Iron Mass is. Usually it's probably sweetened with sucralose or asulfame K, which I don't recommend. This media, I don't know much about it. You email me, I am interested in what you know. I didn't get that. Why is from dairy? Drink a quart of milk after workouts. Yeah, I don't recommend dairy products. I'm sorry. Just Google or go into PubMed and Google, effects of dairy, and you'll get tons of research papers. Some of it's pretty scary. If you guys want to hear one that I read on dairy, put up a 1. If not, I'll just keep answering questions. More made every day. Yeah, and the best one is sweet leaf. I don't drink milk, dairy milk. Okay, here's just one of the research papers I read, and it sticks in my mind. When they have commercial dairy, they measure a number of things, but they measure the bacterial count coming out of the udder, coming out of the chi-chi or the udder of the cow. And I believe, and they may have changed it since the last time I looked into this, but this is when I was trying to work with my daughter's preschool in Hawaii. The bacteria count in this country is allowed to be, I believe, between 1.4 and 1.7 million parts per million. I think that's the correct number. Yeah. In Europe, it's about 700,000. So it's roughly about half the bacterial content in commercial cows is allowable there than here. So technically, our commercial cattle would not be acceptable. The quality of their milk would not be acceptable in Europe. Now, another thing that's shocking, I found that the powers that be are trying to raise here in the United States the bacteria count to somewhere around 2 million. So they're trying to raise it, not lower it, to about 300,000 more than currently. So again, you guys, I have no axe to grind. When people are saying, are you're a chiropractor, so you're already against drugs or surgery, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. I'm for what's going to work and what's going to work in the long term, not the short term. If you have the time, well, in some ways, there's an argument there, what you're saying. I agree. There's intermingling and, fens, what's the old foxes running the hen house. I totally get it. But they do some decent things, and one of the things where they put out the chart on biological value. We are milk drinkers. I'm so very glad I found your scope. Well, and then from the moralistic point of view, we could look at it where we're the only mammal that still drinks another mammal's breast milk. So, yeah, I like vegan kefirs. So there's coconut kefir, there's almond kefir. I don't drink dairy kefir. How do you find out how much muscle you have? You have to figure out what your lean body mass is through a bioimpedance scale or a hydrostatic weighing. You can get that done at most any university. Water kefir, there's water. You're so cute, Doc, always being sensitive with your, oh, thank you so much. So what did the study say other than bacteria? Well, that was just one of them. The protein intake, the protein content in milk is sodium caseinate, very low quality. I believe it was, and you guys can double check me on that, I think it was the American Pediatric Association said sodium caseinate is the single biggest cause of colic in babies. Double check that, but I think that's accurate. So it's just a low quality protein. It's way low on the list. Plus lactose and lactose intolerance and all that. I mean, well, there's so many vegan choices. Why even go that direction? It doesn't make any sense. What's a good lunch? A healthy calories intake. Protein and vegetable would be a good lunch. Did our ability to drink milk save our species? I don't believe so. It doesn't appear to matter. A little, maybe slightly, but it doesn't. Being organic. This is where the media kind of gets us. They throw organic, gluten-free, and natural, and all of a sudden it's tag words. You have to look at what you're doing. Natural sugar can be natural. If you have organic milk, but it's pasteurized and it's from not really healthy cows, I mean, you just don't want to have to deal with that. It ends up with a trust issue, right? As a whole, yes, but whey is different. Yeah, whey is different. It's a milk product, but it's different, especially isolated whey. We can't get calcium from so many. Oh, no question. More usable calcium. The food pyramid needs to be. Oh, it's already been gone through and it's still poor. I think they went through it in 2000. I want to say 2011, and it's still dysfunctional. It's leanbodyacademy.com. Well, they still use the BMI. I was denied life insurance. I think I was in practice for about 4 years. I was about 185, about 12%. I was in a lot better shape than I am now. And they denied me based on my height to weight ratio. They said I was, scaling obese. So it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So that's why if you get your body fat below 15%, your weight becomes irrelevant. It doesn't really matter anymore. Usable calcium from dark leafy greens, and that's where the Ayurveda comes in. They really get into the color. So think about the color of vegetables. What's a good protein powder? The one that I like the best right now is isolated whey. Thank you. Play hockey? I haven't, but Dr. Dave, the office that I work at, he's a big hockey player. We'll cut him some slack. He's from Canada. I have a lot of Canadians that follow me. No, it's not Isopure. Isopure is sweetened with synthetic sweeteners. I use Now, and I use Resveratrol and J. Robs, and all three of them have stevia. Hey, from Russia. Sorry, all I know is Da and Das Vidanya. We have a massage therapist in our office that's Russian. Thank you for the hearts and the shares. Hey, Canada. That's correct. The darker the green, the more usable calcium. That's correct. Oh, geez, so long ago I went. 1996. So after 7 days, how much? $37 a month. $1, I think it's $1.28 a day. I get sore post jiu-jitsu class and trying to recover faster. Yeah, protein after you exercise like that. Protein after you exercise. You've got to, I've got a video in the academy talking about how muscle is made. And it talks about how that process happens. And it's pretty cool caricatures that are doing it. And you'll get an idea of that you're breaking that down. You're breaking down the actin and myosin filaments, and they have to repair themselves. You tore my ACL? I'm sorry. Seek out a good surgeon for that. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, I would. Protein before and after. Good night, Doc. I'm here from Boston. Hey, thanks, Boston. Thanks for staying up late to watch me. Appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on your device. Best thing for tight hips. I've got them. And men, if you go at 40, we're going to start getting tight hips. And I'm 52. Pilates. Go. Try to go. I had a personal Pilates instructor when I was in Hawaii. She helped me a lot. I didn't get that. Will this tell me? Have you read You Are the Placebo? I haven't. But interesting. There was an old doctor that I had a lot of respect for, Dr. Fred Barge, and he said something that made a lot of sense. He said, he heals most in whom have confidence. So whoever you're going to see, make sure they have confidence in what they're doing. I have absolute confidence in my Lean Body Academy. Can I talk about depression? I do in the program. And there's actually some tools that I give you guys to begin to clear up old emotional roadblocks. And a lot of it, if you have health issues or seclusion issues, obesity issues, a lot of it's emotionally motivated. Yeah, see the best, and follow up with your rehab. And I can't tell you enough that you have to follow your doctor and your physical therapist or whoever you're seeing his instructions. Hey, Just Nail, thanks for following me. I haven't read Defensive Food. One of my books on my list. I'm going through Dr. Perrimutter's book right now. Do you customize programs to newly diagnosed diabetes? If you come in for the yearly plan, I'll have a one-on-one consult with you, and I'll go over your labs. And I'm actually thinking about also giving you the book as well. The website is leanbodyacademy.com. Have a nice night. So can I do this all in the site, or do I need to order the book on Amazon too? Leanbodyacademy.com doesn't have the book. It's separate, and you can go through Amazon. But if you come on board with me for a year, you get 30 days free. It's $4.97 for the whole year. I'll spend an hour with you on the phone, go over your labs, and you'll get access to the full academy. I can't do it any cheaper than that. I don't know how I'm going to do all the ones I have now. Where's my book? You never got a book for me? Amy, I'll send you a book. Just comprehend. I think that's Spanish, but I don't speak that. I'm sorry. I should speak Spanish better. I just poquito más. I'm not even sure if that was Spanish. You think may have to be related to the environment. Maybe. Protein sources. There are many, beef, chicken, if you go the animal route. If you do vegan, you have to do the proper combining. Get Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss. It's a good place to begin. Oh, it's French? Okay. My French is petite mère, sorry. With you on that one, I don't... Yeah, and we should. Yeah, Amy deserves a book, you're right. We'll have to get Amy. We'll have to get you a book, okay? Don't get sick again. You're going through some interesting stuff. You guys, Amy's lost, she's been in my program, one of the first people. She's lost close to 80 or 90 pounds, no exercise. And you have to understand, I would say she's probably burnt up about 80% of that came from fat. When you burn fat for fuel, all the old crap that's in there also has to come out. That's why I've got some detoxing or some purging elements, but they're later in the program. When you start fooling around with detoxing, and you're already ill, you're going to make yourself even iller. So Amy, I'm not surprised. Just hydrate, lean body mass with water. Get that to pass through you as quickly as possible. Smooth move tea, don't let up. Just keep rolling, and you'll get through this phase. But that when you're losing that much fat, you're going to have some struggles, physiological pH struggles, no question. Well, a lot of things are stored there. Old drugs are stored there. Old chemicals are stored there. Fat is a metabolically inactive tissue, so stuff could sit there for years. For years. Thank you guys for several people have joined since I've been on the scope. Who spoke French? I don't know. Old emotions, that's right. So, I talk frankly about it because I don't want this to hang up anyone. I was sexually molested at 8 years old. So what? I was an 8-year-old boy, and the person that did that was obviously, not in their right mind. But a lot of us have an event like that happen in our past, and we keep dragging that through our lives. So I took some training years ago, and I actually have a couple audios. In fact, we just finished our second part audio on the coaching call this morning on how to begin to purge that. For my Academy members, did you guys find that helpful? Put up a 2 if you found that to be helpful. That exercise that I gave you to do. It's important. Because there's something called self-loathing. I'm sorry, Amy. Yeah, usually you'll lose it. You've lost weight too quickly and you didn't burn up any body fat. All you lost was weight, so skin kind of sags. Let me ask Amy. Amy, have you noticed a lot of saggy skin since you dropped like 80 pounds? Or has it been pretty tight? You might have some because we're 350 pounds, but you should notice it's not quite as saggy as you hear. Yeah, no sagging, and she's lost 80 pounds. Because remember, guys, the focus is on body fat reduction, not weight loss. After you're in the Academy for a few weeks, you realize how dim of a view that is to be focused on weight. Do you see? Your skin tissue is collagen. It needs amino acids. And when you lose weight too fast, it doesn't have a chance to retract. Plus, it's not being supported. Yeah, it's just a physiological reality. I don't know if Dr. V is on here, a bariatric surgeon, but, I appreciate his scopes where he's at, and he comes on mine, and I have never seen him disagree with me. It's not really me, it's the research. Yeah, and it's a poor one to assess your overall health or your height to weight ratio based on weight. That's so arbitrary. And you have to understand when those things were written in stone, they didn't have things like bioimpedance. They didn't have the hydrostatic weighing until probably the late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, well, most people do that come in the Academy. I want to lose weight. But once you're in the Academy, the intelligence that you start dealing with is, I dropped 2% body fat in the last 2 weeks. You see, your whole, Academy members, am I correct? Your whole mindset shifts to a whole different, you don't realize the intelligence that you're dealing with. Not my intelligence, the things that I've gleaned over time and put them in the Academy in a way that you and I can understand it. I make videos and audios just like this. Well, if you wish that, be happy that you found me that does, and you can get in the Academy for like half a cup of coffee a day. You're so cute. Crack that egg. Thanks for the compliment. So how do I find out more my lean muscle mass? My Academy members don't want me to give out the formula anymore but you just go to a local gym and just say, I want to get my body fat checked. If you go to the nicer ones like an Equinox or something like that, maybe they'll do it for you for free. Just call and find out. Yeah, Amy and a few of the others said not to give it out anymore. I'm sorry. But you can get it in any gym. We'll give you that number. How about LA Fitness? Give them a call. Say, hey, do you guys check body fat over there? And you'll hear it. Probably put the phone against the chest. Hey, do we check body fat today? And they'll be like, yeah, come down. Sometimes these facilities will actually have a hydrostatic unit come on site. And I think it's like $10 or $15. They'll dunk you in a tank. You don't need that. I live in hillbilly homes. Sorry. Sorry. Then get the meter. Get the Omron meter. It's like $30. Yeah, I'm half Greek. My father's parents are from Crete. And my mother's family is from Germany. So my mother's blue-eyed, blonde hair, and my dad is I got stuck with this. Unfortunate, I know. Shallow breathing could be so many things. You could be acidic. If you're on a lot of medications, it can cause that. Could be so many things. I'm sorry. Yeah, my last name is Greek, yes. My father's parents are from Crete. My father, unfortunately, is not around anymore. I wish he was. I wish I knew what I'm teaching you guys now. Would he have listened? I don't know. Hey, South Houston. I'm sure weight has something. There's no question. But in the academy, you'll know what to begin to do and what to focus your energy on. That's the real key. What are you focusing your energy on? What's going to give you the biggest bang? That's what I focus on in the academy. Not all these things. And then when you don't do them, hey, Montreal, then when you don't do them, how many of you guys experience this? Throw up a 1. You join a program or you join a class, you don't get the results, and they tell you, well, you didn't do enough or you didn't do something right. How many of you heard that? Throw up a 2. How long have I been? Since 1991. I know, right? It's your fault. You didn't do something right. Yeah, ridiculous. Sore throat. Heat is your friend. Heat. And then black pepper, a teaspoon of black pepper and a cup of hot water, gargle 3-4 times a day. Why is it doctors say, please put that one back up? I have tendonitis. Any good cures? Oh boy, it could be so many reasons. There's only 2 things that really cure, and that's ham and bacon. So let's not use that term. What can you do to help? It depends on how you got it. Train hard, but no flooding here. I'm not hitting that. Muscular imbalance. I'm not following that question. I'm sorry. Sorry about the long questions. If you throw up lines that are 4 more, please copy those. Everything comes at once at me, guys. But I heard that didn't do enough, so much. Demoralizing. Yeah, don't worry about beating yourself up. In the Lean Body Academy, you don't do any exercise unless you're already doing it for the first 4 or 5 weeks. You have to get certain fundamentals down. It's kind of like you got to take care of your business first before you open up your front door. I help you get your back office in order. Why do doctors say that weight is the problem even though it was maybe something else? Well, body fat's the problem. According to peer-reviewed research, once you start climbing above 25, 30%, you're going to have issues, a number of issues. And that's not me. That's PubMed. That's The Lancet. That's Harvard. It's more and more is coming out. Every month I'm seeing more and more stuff. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm always improving. Members, probably once a week I'll get a member. We've only been up and running in this platform, probably about 2 months, and it's a members-only platform. It's phenomenal. But prior to that, members would give me, and I would give me, I like to see this, like to see that, and I would just add things. There's a ton of material in there. I could add a ton more, but I'm not there to just give you all kind of stuff. I'm there to give you things that are going to make a difference. How do you get rid of belly fat? You got to find out what your lean body mass is. There's no such thing as spot reducing. It's not going to happen. I'm sure I'm above 30%. I have big boobs. Find out what that is. Doc saved my life. Oh, thank you so much. Count your calories, wasted time. It's a one-way trip to Palookaville. And that's not me, that's the research. It actually will make you fatter. And not be. Why do you think counting calories will make you fatter? One word. Why do you think that will happen? This is how interesting how the body works. I kind of figured this, but the research confirmed it for me. Yeah, don't go to Palookaville. Stress, that's absolutely correct. And what they're saying is it's the stress of counting calories causes elevations of cortisol, which ends up with belly fat. Is it directly calorie related? I'm sure decreasing calories plays a role because, again, we're not talking about calories from protein or carbohydrates or simple. We're just talking arbitrarily. That's ridiculous. Who wants that? Doesn't make any sense at all. It's no question. So we don't even, the academy is it's such a pure place to be if you really want to get healthy and get your body fat in check. And yeah, it might be painful to know these numbers, but better now than, when you're 65 or 70, you've got all these health related problems that kind of came on over time. I worked when I was younger a lot. Yeah, it worked. Look, when you're in your 20s, you can get away with Twinkies and ding dongs and all this kind of stuff. I totally get it. Chocolate bar is only, XX. Yeah, you're exactly right. How old am I? I'm 52. Your lean body fat is 140. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, thank you. Thank you. How to lower your A1C? Do this. 3 hours before bed, no simple sugars. And I've had people that I've worked with, A1Cs over 21 and blood sugar over 800. The highest was 821. Leaky gut, I took the very first seminar with Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He's the, I want to say the founder, but he was one of the preeminent people that started talking about leaky gut back in, that was 1996 when I started getting this work. Actually, it was my good friend, Dr. Willard Hunter. Yeah, he's online now. He is the guru with leaky gut, Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He used to be with, I think he's still with Metagenics. And I moved over to Synergy, who I work with now, and Dr. Tripp, who used to be with Jeffrey Bland, is now the head researcher at Synergy, and I met with him the whole day. Soda, don't waste your time with it. Start making the change. I'm good. Standing desks, excellent. If you can. I didn't get that. Sorry, I said this before. You look 30. Oh, thank you. I'm trying to keep follow time in a headlock. Lots of water? No, just enough for your lean body mass. And since I do my scopes and I talk a lot, I probably add about 20% more the day that I'm on. Treadmill desks? How bad are steroids? It's not about good or bad. If you're going to do anything synthetic, go to a doctor that's what he does for a living. Someone who knows it in and out. If you want to talk about body fat and increasing your health performance, I like to say I would be open to that because that's what I do. Talking about steroids, see a doctor who does that kind of stuff. And let him kind of assess you. That's with anything. Go to someone who knows what they're doing and has a passion for it. I'm passionate about this work that I do because I see it changing lives. Hey, hi yourself there. Have you heard of the gallon of water a day challenges? Oh, you mean the ice bucket challenge where you dump it over your head? Thank you. Crack that egg, by the way. Crack that egg, please. No, again, it's all about specifics for your body. You have to think about what you can do consistently. For those of you guys, I'll be on for a little bit longer. You can share or you can follow me down here. You can slide it up or slide it to the side, and you can invite your followers if you'd like. I'll be on for a little while longer. I'll recap my scope. And for those of you who are thinking about joining the academy, here's the best advice I can give you. If you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't the place. If you're looking to really look at your health and assess it reasonably and rationally and apply principles that not only are going to improve your health and drop your body fat, but improve your blood work, and you're willing to give your body some time to make the change, then it's for you. Oh, you follow me already? Thank you. No, he means drinking water every day, but you add yesterday. I didn't get that. Drinking a gallon of water a day challenge, Doc. If your body's lean body mass requires 156 ounces, I think that's what a gallon is, then that's correct. If it requires more, then it's not correct. If it requires less, then it's too much. Do you see my thinking? I'm not into this arbitrary numbers. Good night. Thoughts on CrossFit. I don't like anything where you're leaving your feet. And you'll see people on the scope that are above the age of 40 thinking about jumping around on the hard floor isn't appealing to us. And what you also need to realize is don't confuse joint movement with muscular activity. I'm going to repeat that. Really listen closely. Don't confuse joint movement with muscular activity. No, it's ridiculous. What about jogging? I recommend walking. It's still a hard trauma unless you're going to do it on soft sand. Yeah, it's not good. So let me recap my scope. So tonight's scope was about 3 keys. If you want to change your lifestyle, what you need to focus on first. Number 1 is get your body fat in order. See where you're at. I think a lot of you are going to be shocked. Some of you may be even hitting close to 40%. I would say the average person that comes into my academy, they're between 33 and 50. Some of them are even 60%. Small percentage, 10%. I've got some fitness people. They're below 15. They want to get even lower. They're actually below 20. They want to get even lower. Excuse me. The same principles apply. Number 2, becoming mindful, knowing that you've got some issues and some weaknesses happening. Get them cleared up, or at least recognize that they're happening. And then number 3, think long term. Don't think short term. Do you recommend an increased intake of pre-workout? I didn't get all that. Is it even possible for someone to be 100%? No, you cannot be 0% body fat. You cannot. You got to be at least, once women drop below 11%, the hormone situation becomes very erratic and they'll actually stop cycling. Men, I think, and I'm going to try to do it, I think we can get 9% healthy. And I'm at about 14 right now, so I'm working on this 9% business. And I want to thank you guys for joining me for my scope. I appreciate your hearts and your love so much. Join the academy, leanbodyacademy.com. Maybe someone showed up. It's in my profile. You click on the link, you'll go right to Lean Body Academy. Where I work out, I wouldn't call it workout anymore. I go to the Bay Club here in Redondo Beach. Good night. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you for following me. It's my pleasure to be on your device. Please apply some of these principles. If you join the academy, I'll welcome you personally. There's great people in there. Do something. If you're not going to move for you, be moved for your family members. Remember, we have an obligation. I have a 5-year-old and a wife. I'm obligated to them to be healthy. If you need some motivation, look outside of yourself. Okay? I'm Dr. George Kosmides. Thank you guys for watching me. I will be on again, maybe tomorrow night, maybe, but I don't get out of the office till 8. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.